This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. And what I'm looking at today is 2022's Choose or Die, directed by Toby Meekins. And not to state the obvious, but movies aren't real. The watcher of the movie goes into a pact, an arrangement with the movie maker, in that they're going to allow themselves to be immersed in a fantasy, in the unreal, for however long it lasts, but on the side of the filmmaker, they have to render an illusion that is convincing enough to let that happen. In other words, they can't pull you out of the movie. And whatever point that happens is when the illusion is lost. That doesn't necessarily mean that the movie can't still be enjoyed, but you can't lose yourself in it any longer because whatever magic it was weaving has been dispelled. And that's what happened to me very early in Choose or Die. Listen to this for a minute.
For fucking nothing, she didn't call the fucking police. You want to be on my side? I will always be.
Did you hear it? Listen to it one more time.
You want to be on my side? I will always be.
That is the sound of an actor breaking accent, which is to say you have a British actor acting American and the accent slips. Why is that a big deal? Normally it's not really. But the thing of it is, this whole movie is like that. It's trying to create the impression that this is filmed in the United States. It is not. It's probably all filmed in the UK. I can't say that for a fact, but what I do know, this movie was not shot in the United States. How do I know that, you might ask? Look at how it's filmed. They show very little of any actual location, per se. I mean, you'll see buildings and so on, but you don't see much of streets. And there's a reason for that. You can't tell location very well. But there's nothing about this movie that says American. Even with the people speaking with American accents, this movie does not say American. This movie says British, as in British people speaking with American accents. And to expand on that theory, Eddie Marsden, great actor by the way, is British. He has a very good American accent. Asa Butterfield, also British, also very good American accent. Which leads me to believe every single person in this movie is British. And in and of itself, that is not a problem. But it confuses me because why not have this take place in Britain? There's nothing about this story that couldn't take place in Britain. And in fact, to have had the actors actually speak the way they actually talk would have brought an authenticity to this. Me, at any rate, as a viewer, to suspend disbelief. I could have went with it. But as I said, the minute I caught that slip in accent, and then to watch the movie unfold, to learn that this is just not an American film at all. And keep in mind, I'm not critical of the fact that it's a British movie. Not at all. My issue is, why is this not a British movie? As in, people with British accents, acknowledged to be taking place in London or thereabouts. Why does it pretend to be American? And what's even weirder is that this movie was released on Netflix. So there's no benefit that I can see to treating it as if it were taking place in America. It's the oddest thing. And it bears repeating. This is Netflix. I just watched the latest season of Elite in Spanish with subtitles because I hate dubbing. You mean to tell me the makers of Choose or Die couldn't have actually shot this and have them speak British English? have it take place in actual England? This movie confuses me. And the worst of it is that it only really comes to life in the last half hour. There's some interesting visuals, and the story is interesting, which, I should say, revolves around a cursed video game program. And in fact, it's worth mentioning that the story itself is very similar to The Ring, in that it wants you to copy it so that it can perpetuate itself. It's an interesting story, but as I said, it only comes alive really in the last half hour. Choose or Die is a movie I was really expectant to see, and to have it be what it is extremely disappointing. It's not terrible by any stretch. It is watchable, and in fact, I intend to watch it again at some point, because maybe my feelings will change. But at this point, I really did not enjoy this movie. It takes too long to get momentum, and there's such a disingenuousness about it. This is the first feature film from Toby Meekins. Prior to this, he's done short films, none of which have I seen. Though, I imagine that he works better in that environment. With this movie, going back to my opening thesis, there's a pact between the moviegoer and the filmmakers. If you're being dishonest right from the start, you ruin that. You break that pact. And that's what I feel was done with Choose or Die. Just shoot in Britain. Have people use British accents. More power to you. And in fact, if that were the case, this would be a significantly better movie. As it stands, it's, as I said, watchable, but little else. So what do you think? This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in a review. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or a follow. Peace.